This video was recorded in front of a live virtual audience. Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. Today's topic is going to be my top 10 colognes of all time. Who knows? For now. Things can change at any given moment, right? But as of now, in my life or in my lifespan, these are my top 10 colognes. Mind you, just a quick note, colognes, the eau de cologne concentration is a very delicate concentration, if you may. Thought to be, at least by many. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is, though. However, in the knowledge that we have today, within the concentration range of fragrances, we do have the parfum or the extrait or the extract, which is the highest concentration of essential oils or essence or fragrance within the actual perfume. Then we got the eau de parfum, the esprit de parfum, we have the eau de toilette, we have the eau de toilette concentrées, we have then the eau de colognes, we even have eau de cologne lights. And this is progressively working backwards in terms of, with each one of these concentrations, there's a little bit more of a lighter formula. But mind you, oftentimes the eau de colognes of a given fragrance are not just a toned down version of that fragrance, but they are rather completely different formulations and completely different takes on the fragrance itself. So, by the way, as mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is filmed in front of a virtual live studio audience. I have my wonderful, wonderful viewers in the chat here, and I'm going to be reading through the comments as we go along through the video. Before we get to everything, let me just remind you quickly, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel here on YouTube. Literally, we still have this issue that 8% of y'alls that are watching me, of the 100% people that are watching, only 8% is subscribed to my channel. So if we could get this number at least up to 20% of you who are anyway watching to subscribe, we can reach over 100,000 subscribers like that in a day. I would also like to thank all my members who have joined the membership program on my YouTube channel, and also my patrons. Thank you guys so much. Without you, nothing would be possible. All right, let's get to the topic at hand. So the eau de colognes are oftentimes by brands formulated not just in a lower, let's say, quantity of essential oils and blah, 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 but also smell quite different. So I was reading in the chat, Lucas G says, if I managed to get a vintage Chanel No. 5 cologne, would it be usable, you think? So for example, Chanel No. 5, the cologne, it's not in production anymore. It's been discontinued many years ago, but it has a very specific smell, which is very different from the DNA of Chanel No. 5 is there, but it is a different fragrance than the pure perfume of Chanel No. 5 or the eau de toilette. The eau de cologne was released in 1921 together with the pure perfume, by the way, so it's been around for a long time. And then unfortunately discontinued in an era where colognes became less and less popular. So this is an interesting example with number 5, how the cologne smells very different to the eau de toilette or the eau de parfum or the pure parfum. But my first cologne in this list of 10 is Christian Dior's EAU NOIRE. This is, you see, this is the first formulation of it. It even states cologne on the bottle. This one came out around 2003. I still have almost half a bottle left. That gorgeous juice. Now, as you can see, this is amazing because some of you have, I think robots can be locked on us. Thank you so much for the comment. I think you mentioned before that you were questioning, you were asking, hey, is it possible that cologne is more powerful than eau de toilette? In this case it is. You best believe this cologne of EAU NOIRE lasts for days. 4 days. Now, Hedi Slimane designed the bottle. You could twirl the sprayer off and then you could put a stopper instead, but I have the spray inside. Wonderful, thin, delicate, elegant glass bottle. And Francis Kurkcan, I never know how to pronounce his name, is the master behind this fragrance, behind this cologne, EAU NOIRE, the cologne. What can I say? This is the most intense and powerful cologne I have ever smelled in my life. This one lasts 4 days. It gives you that warm cocoon vibe, being in a wooden mansion, that has burned down several times, and it's been rebuilt, and there's still smell of smoke there. There's licorice in here. There's lavender in here. There's a lot of woods in here, and there's a lot of history and heritage in here. I have reviewed EAU Noire, the cologne, on my YouTube channel, so I shall post a link in the description box underneath this video, so you could check out the video if you want to know more about EAU Noire. This one is a cologne, and it is super intense, and it is my first one of my top 10. Second position is really interesting. It's a little bit sketchy. I'll explain why in a second. It is Chanel's Paris Doville. Now, from the Les Eaux range. You see, you're going to say, for those of you who know this fragrance, you're going to say, wait a minute, Dacob, this is an eau de toilette. This is not an eau de cologne. Haha. Chanel wanted to release these originally with the label on them, eau de cologne. But they changed their mind last minute. They labeled them eau de toilettes. The concentration is still, it's a water. In fact, they're called Les Eaux de Chanel, like the waters of Chanel. They're very, very light. They're supposed to be utilized on the go, just spray, overspraying, like a cologne to refresh yourself. So they are sold as eau de toilettes, I guess, so that they can ask more money for them, because it's a higher concentration, so they can cost more. But they were originally created. The idea behind them originally was to create colognes, like a cologne range for Chanel. So I treat this as a cologne because I know that originally this was supposed to be a cologne, and it is. It's just labeled an eau de toilette. Now you're going to ask yourself, wait a minute, can they just do that? It's a bit sketchy, but yes, brands can. There are certain regulations. If you Google, you're going to find them, of the percentage of the concentration of how many of which essential oil or water or alcohol, the ratio between alcohol and essential oil or water there has to be in order for it to be called eau de cologne or de toilette. But those worths, they fluctuate. They're not really set, you know, so you could, between the range of from A to B, you can still call it something. These are eau de colognes for me, not eau de toilettes, and I treat them as such. So this is my already second bottle of Paris Doville. That's how much I love it. I have reviewed this one on my channel. I've also done the unboxing video of this one, so you could check it out. I will post a link underneath this video. Doville is a basil freshness bomb. It's a bomb of fresh basil. It is a delicious. And the bottle is recalling 30s Chanel bottle of what used to be in a cologne back in the day, and also what used to be bottled in this bottle, similar to this shape, which was the sun oil or the bathing oil or the self-tanning oil. Had a very similar bottle to this. So this is my number 2. And of the Les Eaux range, I have not smelled Paris Edinburgh yet because it hasn't officially been released yet. But of the 4 that are released, this is my favorite one. Paris Doville. The third cologne on my top 10 list is Thierry Mugler's Cologne. This one is very straightforward, very simple, but it still has a bit of strange vibes going down in the dry down. This one is a very, very shrewd, very interesting, very intelligent composition, because it's not just, you can see the color, the green color, the citrusy tone of it. It already screams cologne, but it's not just a typical cologne. There's warmth there. It's not just a refreshing bergamoty, citrusy fragrance. It, in the dry down, it turns warm. It caresses you. It warms you up from within. So from that freshness of a cologne, of a just kind of like refreshing yourself of your energy, you can go, it goes down into something more sophisticated that can be used not just in the morning to freshen up, but you can reapply throughout the day. Now, of course, this is a huge bottle. I think this is a 300 ml. Yeah, it's a 300 ml bottle. But as most, or all, no, not all, as most Thierry Mugler fragrances, this one can be decanted. You can just unscrew the top here, and you could verse this, you know, pour it in a little smaller sprayer bottle, and then you can have it on the go. Because this one doesn't even have a lid. It's literally super simple. It's a cologne with the sprayer nozzle. That's the way it works. And it has the T for Thierry Mugler, the T and M. See the T, and then there's the 3 lines there which represent the M for Thierry Mugler. This is the old bottle. There's a newer design with a newer font out there, but this is from 7-8 years ago, I want to say. But I can't see the batch number in this one. It kind of got peeled off. So this is my number 3. Number 4, I've gone through 3 bottles of this one. And I have finished the Cologne version of it. I had a full bottle of that. And then the Cologne got discontinued. So I bought Eau de Parfum because they released Eau de Parfum. And that would be Bois d'Argent from the Maison Dior range. Mind you, when Bois d'Argent was first released, it first came out together with Eau Noire. And it came out only as a cologne in the early 2000s. Now it only exists as an eau de parfum. So I'm showing you the eau de parfum bottle. I went through, look at that. I went through 2 bottles of the eau de parfum. And the 3rd bottle I used was the cologne. So, but I'm mentioning this as my 4th favorite cologne, even though I'm showing you the eau de parfum bottle. Bois d'Argent is a magical fragrance. You guys, nobody does honey like Bois d'Argent does honey. It's a silver honey. And just like the name calls it, it's a forest of silver, a silver forest. It's amazing. It's incredible. It's warm and cool at the same time. It's so sophisticated. This one, like no other, to me, represents the early 2000s. And when Dior Homme was ruling the world with its design, with its, with Hedi Sliman's skinny cuts for Dior Homme, when Karl Lagerfeld decided to lose all that weight so he could fit inside a Dior Homme by Hedi Sliman outfit. That was the time, and this was the smell of that time. This was the smell of that time, Bois d'Argent. Number 5 is, it's a no-brainer that it was going to be in my top 10 list, really. It's amazing. It's one of the most elegantly composed colognes out there, and that would be Chanel's Les Exclusives Eau de Cologne. Eau de Cologne. Now, oh my God, this one is so sophisticated. This one doesn't bite you in the opening notes. All Chanel perfumes begin with aldehydes, not this one. I mean, it does, but the aldehydes don't sparkle in the opening. It's creamy. It's like the only cologne I know that is creamy. It's like cream, cream, cream. It's so good. I have reviewed this one as well on my channel. You could check it out in the link is in the description box down below. Funny story about this one is that when it was first released by Jacques Polge for Chanel in 2007-ish, 6, 7, it was labeled as an eau de cologne, and it cost less than all the other Les Exclusives, which were back then eau de toilettes. Then it got relabeled, which is super silly. They labeled the eau de cologne as an eau de toilette. So it's called eau de cologne, but the concentration stated on the packaging was eau de toilette. And I think they took that away again because that's super confusing. But still to this day, the eau de cologne costs less than the Les Exclusives eau de parfums, which it should, obviously. Even though this one is actually more intense than some of their eau de parfums in the Les Exclusives range. So you see, again, it doesn't mean that eau de cologne is something lighter, that's more faint, that evaporates after a shorter period of time than another higher concentration would. This is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. I highly recommend it. And it is my number 5. Number 6 is interesting. Now, again, we have this story of the eau de toilette / eau de cologne. It is another Dior, and this is Osavage. Now, Osavage, I have it here in this travel flask in plastic that has been discontinued in eau de toilette concentration, but this is like an eau de cologne. It exists also in eau de cologne concentration. This one is quite vintage. It's over 20 years old, I think, by now. I'm not so sure, actually. Well, I can give you the batch code for this one. Mind you, they repeat every 10 years, but anyway, it's 1D01. The camera is focusing on the Christmas tree, on everything but the bottle. Come on. Okay, I'm zooming closer. There you have it. This is a 60s take on Chypre. This one has a bit of lavender in there too. You could call it a fougère. No, it's a Chypre. But this one has carnation in it. This one has a lot of flowers, a lot of woods. This is so sophisticated. It's very, very 60s. It delivers a sophisticated gentleman vibe that goes together with the suits of the 60s. It's not just a rough, it's like not a male fragrance for men, you know. It's soft, it has those flowers in there. It's very well rounded, especially in the vintage formula. The newer formulation, I mean, you know, they've released also the pure perfume of this one, or there's also an extreme version. I don't know if it's been discontinued. None of them really render the magic that used to be. The Cologne and Eau de Toilette of Osavage. This is before the IFRA regulations kicked in, so this one has a lot of bombastic ingredients in there that are now missing in the current formulation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is number 6. Number 7, Hermès from the Cologne range, from their colognes, is Eau de Gentian Blanche. Eau de Gentian Blanche. The gentian flower, being a flower that grows on peak of mountains, which is not the Edelweiss, it's not that fluffy white flower. This is a blue tinted flower. It's the root of the flower that is actually used for grappa, drinks, tea, and also for fragrances. This one also has Bulgarian rose in it, but it's the gentian root that creates the most sophisticated cologne, but also the most bitter cologne I have ever smelled in my life. Not just the most bitter cologne, the most bitter fragrance I have ever smelled in my life. This one is incredible. Eau de Gentian Blanche is, unfortunately, from the Cologne series. This is the least known of the Hermès Cologne series, and it is the least purchased, and it is, I don't want to say discontinued, but it's really hard to find. No shops order it, really. Almost no shops order it. You can still find it, you know, as a connoisseur, you know, as somebody who knows perfumes, and then you go and maybe to a Hermès boutique, maybe they still carry it, but it is quite rare these days because usually people go for the orange and the lemony smells. This one is bitter. It's bitter mixed with the rose. It's amazing, but it is a very special cologne. No other cologne smells like this one. Eau de Gentian Blanche from the Hermès Cologne series. So that was my number 7. Number 8 is again a Dior. This is Cologne Blanche. This one has unfortunately been discontinued. Now, I have been watching some videos on YouTube. People have no clue that this one existed. And it's so funny how some shade here, we're going to go into shade. I ain't going to mention any names, but there are some big perfume reviewers out there. Probably not the ones you're thinking, but some that think that this one is Cologne Royale. It ain't. They're completely two different fragrances. Cologne Blanche is Cologne Blanche. The second François Demachy took over Dior fragrances, he discontinued this one. And he introduced his own creation, which is Cologne Royale. But truth be told, Cologne Blanche came before, and then it was discontinued. Then Cologne, after that, Cologne Royale was also taken away and then brought back. At the moment, I do not know if you can still buy it, Cologne Royale, but you cannot get Cologne Blanche. Cologne Blanche is of the original 3, because Mitza was not in the original 3. These were the first 3 released. They were called back then the Dior Privé range in the early 2000s. This was the magical triptych. These were the 3 magical fragrances released in the early 2000s. This bottle designed by Hedi Slimane and then different perfumers designing the fragrances. And of these 3, only these 2, only, let me take it right. Only these 2 remain. Girl, really? So only these 2 are still in production, even though quite rare. This one is massively produced. This one is very rare, but it still exists. It's still in production, but you can only get it directly from Dior. Anyway, so this was number 8. So as I said, be wary of those reviewers who tell you that Cologne Royale was one of the first 3 ever released. No. It was Cologne Blanche. And Cologne Blanche, just as the name suggests, it is the whitest of colognes. It is a powdery cologne. It is a clean, dry, powdery cologne. It literally, I mean, just the liquid is almost a white, transparent type of liquid. And this is the, see the splash bottle with the stopper here? Oh my God. This is, you guys, this is the cologne that represented, you know, Dior Homme, that clean vibe that's connected to the past. It's so nostalgic. It is very 2000, mind you. It is a very intelligent concoction. The formulation is very early 2000s, but it's full of memory. It's full of nostalgia, so much nostalgia. That powdery, irisy tone in here. It feels like when you're, you know, in an old apartment in Paris with wooden floors and really high ceilings and those gorgeous high windows, and you're looking through those curtains, and there's like sunbeams penetrating through the curtains, and the sunbeams reflect the particles of dust that are floating in the air. And that dust feels like it's been there for centuries. I mean, I'm not talking dirty, just a little bit of dust floating with that, with those yellow, golden rays of sun through those windows in that apartment in this romantic city. That's Cologne Blanche. It's that majestic. And it is a shame that Dior discontinued Cologne Blanche. You know? A shame. Very Game of Thrones. Shame, 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 Demachi, for discontinuing this incredible fragrance. All right. Now you're going to be a little bit shook. Number 9 is, again, a Dior, and it is Poison. And it is the Eau de Cologne. And now you can see, it's kind of hard to see, but there it says Eau de Cologne. And you can see that the bottle is a lighter tint of purple. It's translucent in a way. Transparent almost. And this is the Eau de Cologne concentration of Poison. Now, mind you, all of these are unisex. Some are even marketed as unisex. Some are marketed as male, but are actually not. So, Eau de Gentian Blanche, Hermès is marketed as unisex. All the 3 Dior Privés that I showed you are marketed as unisex. Paris Doville, Les Eaux de Paris Doville is marketed as unisex. This one was marketed to women, but it is a wonderful, wonderful rendition of Poison. It is less plummy. It doesn't go so heavy on the plum like the Esprit de Parfum or like the Eau de Toilette. It is also more powdery. It is more soft, more toned down, more powdery and more animalic in a way, which is something we also notice in Chanel No. 5's cologne. It has that, it's more civet heavy. This one is more animalic too. It is stripped down of all of those spices and all of the heavy stuff that makes Poison so heavy, but it maintains the animal, and it goes into that animalic realm, and a powdery, dry animalic realm. It's delicious. Unfortunately discontinued, but this is my number 9. Poison Eau de Cologne. Number 10, you best believe it's Pour Monsieur. This is the love of my life. I know this one is an Eau de Toilette, but since I use it, I mix it with the aftershave lotion, which would be a degree lower in concentration than an Eau de Cologne. I mean, I have it for travel purposes in a smaller bottle. I go through at least 1 bottle a month of this. I treat it, this is why it's under my colognes. I treat this as a cologne. I bathe in this. I literally have it always with me on the go. I just unboxed this one a week or 2 ago, so you could check out that video on my YouTube channel as well as many reviews. I've made a ton of videos dedicated to Pour Monsieur. Yes, it is an Eau de Toilette. It's a chypre, but you can treat it as a cologne, because the secret of Pour Monsieur is the more you spray it, and the better it is. The more you have it on yourself, and the more nuances you discover. If you treat this as a cologne, you don't sparingly spray it, but you really go for it, you're going to discover so many facets, elements, details of it, I just mentioned in my other video a couple of days ago that just a couple of weeks ago I've unlocked, or a couple of days ago I have unlocked another mystery of this fragrance, that it has in the dry down a certain tone. I think the cedar wood combined with the cardamom and the coriander And the ginger gives it like a chai tea or a chai latte type of hue sometimes. That warm chai tea smell and flavor, it's in here, and I like, it's been years that I haven't smelled that, and all of a sudden it just appeared to me because I dosed it in a different way. So it also depends how you dose things. So these are my top 10 favorite colognes of all time for the time being. But I could not leave this video without an honorable mention. The honorable mention, you're going to be shocked again, the honorable mention being Obsession, you guys. Now this is a factice bottle. It's a huge, heavy 1 liter bottle of the first release of Obsession in 1985, which, believe it or not, used to be a cologne. So the first, well, they released a cologne and the pure perfume. This is the bottle that represents the cologne. Okay, now in the States, Obsession was released as a cologne, and then progressively, as it hit the markets around the world, it was reformulated as an eau de parfum, and the cologne was discontinued. It just changed name. But the first mass release of Obsession by Calvin Klein was cologne. In the 80s, colognes were way more popular than today. So this one has an honorable mention. The cologne concentration has been discontinued, but it is a very fascinating concept and very intense smell. Again, to debunk the fact that people think that colognes have to be super weak and fleeting. No. The cologne, the first released cologne of Obsession, was a projection beast. So this has an honorable mention. So let me get to the chats. Let's see what you guys say. Robots Can Be Locked On Us says, I like eau de parfum myself. Candy Fluff says, oh, the professionalism of it all. Yeah, we're filming segments live. Robots Can Be Locked On Us says, eau de toilette does not last long at all. It depends who's making the eau de toilette and which ingredients are used. Some eau de toilettes last a long time, some are very fleeting. MK, I have vintage Shalimar Poison, all in eau de cologne concentrations. Well done. Lucas G says, this is professional broadcasting. Thank you, sweetie. Then the next comment. Sorry, they just flipped really quickly. Okay, here we go. Emilia says, yeah, there we go. The video began. Okay, so Lucas says, if I manage to get a vintage number 5 cologne, would it be usable, you think? Yeah, the top notes might be busted, but wait till the dry down sinks in. It's going to be very animalic, though. So if you're not into that, be careful. But as a collectible, always worth buying a vintage Chanel. Lanier says, my favorites are always changing. The fluid is fluid. Well said. Lucas says, or just for collection. Exactly. Nicole says, MK, that's wonderful, honey. Thank you. Lucas, because I'm curious as to how it smells. Cologne versus eau de toilette, I guess. MK, I have opened Chamad and it is still usable, I think. Ergastiri Petra says, I'm planning to buy Shalimar eau de cologne. I actually have Shalimar eau de cologne. It is amazing. But be careful because this one is also, I think, discontinued in many countries. Time to Musk Up says, a lot of companies lie about their concentrations. Lanier says, one of my favorites too. I guess you mentioned, as I was talking about one of these, I guess, maybe Eau Noire. Audrey says, Lucas G, I think if it's stored correctly and in a dark space, it should be okay to use. It's always tricky buying a vintage. It's like playing perfume roulette. That's a good one. It is like playing perfume roulette, but I love that suspense, you know. I like playing that roulette in that case. MK says, time to Musk Up. I am not a perfume expert, but I agree about the possible lying of the brands about concentrations. And Louis says, I'm not sure if that is a cologne, but my favorite and first fragrance I had was Gucci by Gucci. I still love it. Audrey says she agrees to time up. Okay. Robots Can Be Locked On Us says it's green. It's very green. Time to Musk Up says, oh, wow, love it. Nicole Cameron says, yes, Lucas, the number 5 is wonderful. I have the cologne from the 50s, and it was never opened, but by me until last year. I can smell it on my skin after 2 showers. You see what I mean, you guys? Cologne. Audrey says, what a gorgeous garden shade. Time to musk up. There's 3 Diors I need, but they moved to France. Oh, Rich missed Lanier. That's so sweet. Rich says, Lanier made hold me with a hug. And Lanier hugged Rich Mitch. You two are adorable. Edo757. My favorite out of this line is Paris Venise. I find it lovely. I love Paris Venise too, but I had to trim it down to 10. You know what I mean? Time to musk up. There's one company lying. Oh, a couple of them are. Emilio says, come on, 300 milliliter. Yes, queen. Lucas, love Paris Venise too. The first Lizo I tried. Rich Mitch says, I managed to score a 1980 bottle of Gilles by Dior recently. Oh, yum, Rich, isn't it marvelous? Lanier says about some perfume. MK says, Dacob, Mugler cologne smells horrible on me. I find it deliciously and sensually spicy and fresh on darker skins though. Rich says, absolutely fabulous stuff. The ingredients are incredible. Did they ever find out what the S note was in Mugler? I mean, they keep saying that it could be some liquid, but you never know. I think it's just marketing strategy. Time to musk up. Original Vetiver I have, and it's amazing. Niche version of the Mugler. Robots Can Be Locked on Us says they need fancier labels in order to be respected more. I don't think so. I think it's beautiful. I mean, Chanel uses the same labels even for their pure perfumes. It's okay. The Dior's have a wonderful label, I think. I think this is really beautiful label. So clean and majestic. I love it. I love the simplicity. Lanier says, I didn't like Bois d'Argent until I took it to Mexico and wore it in the jungle. It was jungle magic. Ooh, that sounds good. Ido says, funny story. A sales associate in Sephora told me, okay, it's a it's a fragrance that smells like some enhancer substances. And I don't mean the drink. I mean the substances, yeah. Was the secret ingredient in Mugler cologne. She probably smelled too much of it. She sniffed too much of it. She should have smelled it instead. God, bad joke. Yes, Emilio. Emilio's like, is there a secret ingredient in Mugler cologne? Yeah, they say that there is the secret, super secret ingredient in Mugler's cologne, which is the reason why I purchased it initially, but it... MK says, Chanel Eau de Cologne has been the one and only Chanel's fragrance I loved until 2 weeks ago when I retired Pour Monsieur Misia et Le Lion. Or when I retried Pour Monsieur Misia et Le Lion. Ido says, I swear, me and my friends still laugh today when we think about that day that you were told what it smells like. I'm going to tell you which perfume does smell like it has a substance in it. You can check out my review of that one. It is Noble Leather. That one smells exactly of that. Lanier says, eau de sac. Oops. And I oop. Audrey says, I love a cologne after a shower on an evening. I'm using a Roger and Gallet, or Roger Gallet, I don't know how to pronounce it, at the moment, and it is wonderful during the winter. I've got an 87 bottle of Osavage, says Rich Mitch. Lanier says, Osavage is magnificent. It's all about channeling Alain Delon, who was the face for Osavage, and still is today. They've used a vintage photo of him. Rich Mitch, Roger at Gallet or Gallet is a great house. I bet that knocks you off your feet, Rich Mitch. The Roger and Gallet, I guess. Oh, MK agrees with the Sephora essay about Mugler's cologne and the secret ingredient and how it smells. Lanier says, Purple Noon. Have you smelled any Alain Delon fragrances? No, I have not. Lanier has a few of them, though. Cologne Blanche, my favorite Hermès, says Emilio. By the way, you guys, let me just pause it here for a second and let you know, of all these wonderful people in the chat, Lanier Smith and Emilio both have incredible perfume channels, YouTube channels in general, but they talk mostly perfume, so go check them out. I will post a link in the description box under my video when I'm after done filming, so when you actually watch this video in the future, you're going to see in the description box a link to their channel. So Lanier Smith and Emilio, but he has his perfume review channel as well. They're both amazing gentlemen reviewing perfumes like no other. So go check them out. Send them some love and subscribe to their channel. Nicole says, when you wear these, do you feel like you are cheating on Mademoiselle Coco? LOL. No, absolutely not. Coco would approve. Rich Mitch, I agree about Roger and Gallet, and my grandma used to wear the ginger eau de cologne, one of my childhood olfactive memories. MK says, I love eau de rhubarbe écarlate as well. I like to mix it sometimes with the Comme des Garçons sherbet, the sorbet rhubarbe. I absolutely love to try that. Lanier says, when I mentioned the shade about perfumes, the scandal fragrance, le scandale, the shade of it all. Terra Bella is great, but discontinued, says Time to Musk Up. Terra Bella from Dior, right? I think I have a sample of it. Lanier says, when you are Audrey Hepburn looking for Honorine at the beginning of Charade, which one would that be? I do not know, because the chats are, from before, so we missed the topic in kind of a... I miss the reference sometimes. Yes, I had never worn anything from this house until then. Such gorgeous scents. I'm currently using Roger and Gallet. I can never pronounce it correctly. Jean-Marie Farina Eau de Cologne. It is divine. So, robots can be locked on us like gray flannel, I guess. Does not like gray flannel. Had to pour it down the sink. Helen French, hello, sweetie. Good evening, everybody. I'm just arrived. Was on another chat. Hello, sweetie. Welcome. Lanier Smith says the original gray flannel was a masterpiece. The only criticism I can make about Roger Gallet is that their colognes tend not to last as long as they used to. Lanier Smith says, Pour Monsieur, my very first fragrance in 1971. Helen says, Lanier, I know you. Watched your YouTube channel. Enzo Renato says, Enzo Renato Flores Sumareda says, OMG. Love Pour Monsieur, although my favorite cologne is the Acqua di Parma Colonia, Edo says. All right, so you inspired to ignore gender in perfume and just try a male scent. Frau Emily once says, thank you, sweetie, and welcome to the live stream. CCRICCRCCS. Hello, sweetie. Difficult name. I cannot wait to smell Paris Edinburgh. It sounds incredible. I cannot wait to smell it too. Agostini says, I also use Varon Dandy Parena after shower in an inexpensive Spanish cologne by Coty. Just another Roger says, I was just binge watching Lanier yesterday, and Lanier's here with us, you guys. Okay, so this was your chats, your comments, and thank you so much for your list of your favorite colognes. This is very helpful also for the viewers who are going to watch this video in the future. Thank you guys very, very much. Luis Martinez says, good afternoon, everyone. Greetings from Los Angeles, California. Hello, Luis. Welcome to the live stream and to the chats. So guys, these were my top 10 fragrances in cologne concentration. I hope you've liked this video. Let me know in the comment section down below which are your favorite cologne fragrances of all time, the time being now. Also, you can notice I would like to thank my patrons. Here they are all listed, as well as the members. They're all going to be scrolling through. This is a wonderful new addition to the channel. It's my way of saying thank you to all of y'alls for being so supportive, for sending me so much love. It really means the world to me. And all of you are also, I'm sure, one day when this lockdown ends and we do manage to meet up, the smell, all of us are going to have these perfumes on. I believe, could you imagine all of us in one room at the same time? We're going to smell like everybody's going to have their own perfume. It's going to be the most wonderful mix of perfumes ever. All of us meeting up at a meet and greet one day. That would be a dream come true. Hopefully one day we can all meet up again and get to hug each other again. That would be the best thing ever. For those of you who are just tuning in, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so and clicking the notification button, or consider becoming a member, joining the channel, and then you get your name listed here on this wonderful little list. And also you get extra perks like, you know, emojis and videos that you get to watch before they hit YouTube, or exclusive just for you guys, as well as if you join my Patreon, Super Dacob all spelled together. So, my dear loves, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. Bye. Mwah.